Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today for another episode of For the Love of Food. I'm your host, Cathy Braner, and today we are making Salsa Verde chicken quesadillas with pickled jalapeños and pepper jack cheese. I don't know about you, but during this quarantine time, I feel like we are cooking 3 meals a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And on some nights, we just want to do something simple. So today, I'm gonna share 2 variations for our Salsa Verde chicken. One that's super simple, and one that you can kick up a notch if you prefer. But before we get started with that, I want to roast one of our ingredients. So we're going to use a Poblano pepper in our kicked up version of the Salsa Verde chicken. So this is a Poblano pepper. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, but I want to get it into the oven right away. So I'm just going to take a little bit of olive oil and I'm just going to pour it straight on there. You can see a little puddle. And then I'm just going to take my hands and I'm going to just rub the oil into the Poblano. So next I'm going to take that Poblano, put it on a cookie sheet, and we are going to roast it in a 400 degree oven. So I want to get this in right away so that it can start roasting. So little olive oil, rub it. For this recipe, you can do 2 Poblanos if you'd like, or 1. I just set a timer for 5 minutes because I want to check it. It probably will take anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. Your oven might take a little bit longer, but that Poblano is going to get charred and blistered, and we're going to peel the skin off before we use it. Poblano peppers are chili peppers that are mild from a spiciness perspective, and they're below a jalapeno on the Scoville heat scale. So they're really good to add into this Salsa Verde chicken. So we're going to use that in the kicked up version of the chicken. But let me tell you how to make the simple version. It's literally 3 ingredients. It's 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs, 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and then a jar of Salsa Verde. So I typically like the brand Herdez, H-E-R-D-E-Z, but this is what I have at home today. So I'm going to use this, and Salsa Verde is literally green salsa. Typically it is made with tomatillos, which are they look like a green tomato, but they have a husk that you peel off before you use them. And it's made of tomatillos, onions, garlic, and usually some jalapenos and some spices, but we're going to use the jar. So that is the simple version of it, is literally 1 pound boneless, skinless chicken breasts, 1 pound boneless, skinless chicken thighs, and a 16-ounce jar of Salsa Verde. You're going to put that in your crock pot, cook that for 4 to 6 hours on low until it is tender, and then you're going to shred it with 2 forks. So that is 3 ingredients to make a really delicious Salsa Verde chicken, and then you can use that chicken in many ways. It's great in tacos. You can add cheese, lettuce, saute some bell peppers, some onions, and make some really delicious tacos. Or you can do a rice bowl where you take white rice or brown rice or cilantro rice and then top it with the Salsa Verde chicken with some cheese, with some sauteed bell peppers and onions, whatever you'd like to do, kind of like a Chipotle bowl. Or you could do the same version with a salad and just do all the toppings like Chipotle. But today we are going to do a quesadilla. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the kicked up version. We just talked about the basic version, which is still very delicious, but it is a really quick, easy way to get dinner on the table. So if you do want to kick it up a notch, what we're going to do is add some ingredients to the basic recipe. So we're going to take a half of an onion and you're just going to dice that. And then you're also going to take 2 cloves of garlic and we're going to mince those, okay? And then in addition, we're going to use a half a teaspoon of oregano and a half a teaspoon of ground cumin. So what we'll do is saute all those ingredients together in your skillet on top of the stove, and then we're going to also have that roasted poblano to add too. So if you decide to do the kicked up version, start with your 2 pounds of chicken, your jarred salsa verde, saute your onion, your garlic, add your cumin and your oregano, add that to your crock pot when it starts, and just let it cook for 4 to 6 hours on low, okay? So what I want to do next though is actually show you the quesadillas. So we're going to make the salsa verde chicken to use however you'd like, but today I want to show you using it in a quesadilla. My kids love these quesadillas, and what else I love about these is you can freeze this chicken and you could always have it on hand if you want to make quesadillas. So I just have 2 flour tortillas, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to fill those with the chicken, and we're going to add in some additional ingredients to that. I have a block of pepper jack cheese. Now you can use shredded pepper jack cheese too, but if I have a block, I prefer to just shred it on my own. They do put some, it's called cellulose, in with the shredded cheese. I use shredded cheese in the bag, but it just is added so that it doesn't cake. So I'd rather shred my own if I have it available. So I am just taking a block of pepper jack cheese, and I'm just gonna shred probably about a half a cup or so of this just on my box grater, okay? And there we have our shredded cheese. And now we're just gonna start building our quesadilla. So I'm gonna take a quick break and check our poblano. Okay, you can see that the poblano is roasting already. Some people like to actually do their poblano over an open flame, which is great too, but I like doing it this way because it allows me to work on other things while it's roasting. But you can see this side is already charred, and that's what we're looking for. So we're gonna flip it, and we're gonna give it 5 more minutes, and then I'm gonna show you what to do when it is completely charred and blistered. So I'm going to give it 5 more minutes in the in the oven. And now let's go back to our quesadilla. So we have our pepper jack cheese, we have our chicken, and I'm going to introduce you to one other ingredient that I really love in these quesadillas. They're called Jeff's Naturals, and they're pickled jalapeno peppers. These are diced. You can also get a version that's sliced. And Amazon actually carries these, and I really like these in this quesadilla, but you can use them on many other things. You could even put them on a hamburger with pepper jack cheese with some of these on it too. So let's start building our quesadilla. I first want to show you what our finished salsa verde chicken looks like. That is the chicken after it cooked with our jarred salsa verde. And this version, I added in the sauteed onions, the cumin, the oregano, and that roasted poblano. You can see the dark green is the roasted poblano. So I'm going to start with my first layer, which is my chicken. So I am just going to take some of this salsa verde chicken, and I'm going to spread it on my tortilla. And it's really up to you on, how much you want on it. You could add beans to this if you also wanted to too. Okay, so there we go with our chicken. That has all of our spices in it, our cumin, our oregano, our sauteed onions, our poblanos. Next, I'm going to take my cheese. So I'm going to take my shredded pepper jack cheese, and I'm just going to start sprinkling that on the quesadilla.
So Laura Schneider's asking if this was a birthday dinner request.
Dave, was it?
You have to repeat the questions.
Laura Snyder wanted to know today's Dave's birthday. Happy birthday, Dave. And Laura was wanting to know if this was a birthday dinner request.
And the answer is yes, I would say.
He's got a homemade banana cake with cream cheese frosting for later today.
Joe Petrielli is watching. Hey, Joe Petrielli.
Hi, Joe. Good to hear that you're out there watching.
I saw Vito pop on earlier too.
Okay, so I think we're good on our cheese, and once again, it's totally up to you on how much cheese you'd like. And next, I'm gonna take these pickled jalapeno peppers. These are the diced version, so I am just gonna take some and I'm just gonna sprinkle these around the top too. My kids love these pickled jalapenos. You could see this is still really simple and there's only a few ingredients, but it really is a treat to have those pickled jalapenos on there, and you can use them in so many ways. Okay, so there we have it. We have our chicken, our shredded pepper jack cheese, and our pickled jalapenos, and next we're gonna add our top layer to our quesadilla. All right, so you may not have a quesadilla maker, and the only reason I have a quesadilla maker is because my dear friend Sue had gifted me with this quesadilla maker many years ago. Sue was my neighbor and my dear friend, and she gave this to us, and she was I call her my angel on earth because she took care of my kids when I worked when they were little, and she is the most caring, sweet person in the world, and I don't know what I would have done without her. So we're gonna put it in the quesadilla maker. If you don't have a quesadilla maker, you can easily use a skillet and just do it on top of the stove. Really simple. You're just gonna wanna flip it to get each side crispy and let the cheese melt, okay? So we're gonna let that go, and we are gonna check on our poblano pepper while that is cooking. Okay, there we have it. You'll notice that it is starting to blister and it's got some chard marks on it. So what you want to do at this point is we're going to transfer it to a bowl, and we are going to let it steam. Okay, so I'm just going to take a towel and I'm just going to put a towel on top of the bowl and let that towel trap that steam, and that's gonna make it really easy to peel the skin. There's a really thin layer of skin on the outside of it, and we're just gonna set that aside for a minute and let the steam do its thing, and we're gonna check our quesadilla. Okay, we're gonna let it go a little bit longer. You can see the cheese is starting to melt. Let's see if we want to give it a flip. I don't know, there's always just something fun about quesadillas. Let's see. The cheese is looking pretty melty in there, but let's give it a little bit more. And let's take a look at our poblano as that cooks. So it's still a little hot, but I want to show you what we're going to do with this skin. So you can see it's really interesting. There's this really thin layer. I don't know if you can see that, but this really thin layer of skin on the outside of the poblano. So all we want to do is peel that really thin layer off, okay? Like that. And it comes off really easy. It's nice when you do put it in a bowl. You could even cover it with plastic wrap instead of a towel, and that makes it really easy too. Okay, so once you have that off, all you're gonna do then is cut it. So I'm gonna cut it in half, and you're gonna see all the seeds, and I like to take a spoon and just scrape the seeds out with a spoon. And then you could do whatever you'd like. I diced mine when I made my Salsa Verde chicken this morning, or you can cut it in strips. And there you have it. You have your roasted poblano pepper. I would highly recommend you try roasting one of these poblanos. It adds so much flavor to so many dishes. I've put them on burgers before. We've made pepper jack cheese hamburgers with the, okay, I think this is ready. You can see that cheese sizzling. See how nice and brown it got on the top? And there we have it. Usually what I like to do is cut it with a pizza cutter, just to make it into nice little quarters for people to eat. So we're just gonna cut it first in half, and then we're gonna cut each of our halves. It actually, the quesadilla maker actually has these little cuts in it, so we're gonna do it in 6 pieces. Okay, and we'll see if we have a taster. Matthew, do you want to taste the quesadilla? It's still pretty hot.
I'd love to.
We could see, you can see the cheese is melted. It is pretty hot, so just be careful.
Somebody wants to get upstairs. That's really good. Yeah. The jalapenos are awesome in it.
Kev, you want to taste a little section? It's still really hot. Kevin's going to give a taste too.
Margaret just opened the door, so.
The dogs joined the party.
Virgo. The doggies. Hey, dogs.
Very good.
What do you think? Good stuff? Guys, say everybody. Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
All right.
So those are our Salsa Verde chicken quesadillas with pickled jalapenos and pepper jack cheese. We started with our Salsa Verde chicken as our base. Once again, you can go really simple and just do your 2 pounds of chicken with your 16-ounce jar of Salsa Verde, or on top of the basic recipe, you can also add in your roasted poblano, which we showed you how to do today. You can add in your sauteed onion, your ground cumin, your oregano, and your garlic, and you just add that to the crock pot with the chicken, with the jarred salsa verde. Cook it for 4 to 6 hours on low, and you could use that in so many different ways. It freezes really well. Today we showed you how to put it in quesadillas, so I hope you have a chance to get a poblano, roast a poblano, and see what you think about the different ways you can use it in your recipes. So thank you for joining us today for the love of food. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. I never actually eat these.